options. How about houses? Hey, I understand houses. So Simon wants to sell his house. This is Simon's house. This is Simon. First, he's got to find out what's the current market value of his piece of shit. He finds out it's 400,000. Beautiful. What did he pay for this piece of shit? 250,000, which means 150,000 in sick gains, bro. All right, what does this have to do with options though? So, Martin wants to buy a house. Simon wants to sell a house. That's really convenient. Simon's got $150,000 in unrealized gains. Martin's got a bunch of cash in his pocket. But he's not 100% about Simon's house. He's like, I don't really know about this place. What about the neighborhood? What about, the little delinquents running around stabbing people up in the middle of the night? That's not cool. Does that happen here? What about the schools? Are they good? Are they going to teach his kids worthwhile skills? Are they going to allow them to make the connections that they need to make so they can follow Martin into his life of luxury and buying houses and shit? Market noise. See, Simon, though, is a shrewd investor, and he doesn't want to lose a sale of his badass house because he's got himself 150,000 in sick gains, don't forget. So what does he do? Simon says, listen, Martin, I got a deal for you. I'm going to write you a contract, buddy. I'm going to give you an option on my house. You can buy this piece of shit shack for $400,000 anytime between now and the next year, buddy. I'll give you 365 days. So Martin's like, sweet, I'll pay you 10 grand for that option. Simon's like, fuck yeah, I'll take that 10 grand because he just turned his unrealized 150,000 sick gains into unrealized 140,000 sick gains. He just put 10 grand in his pocket. Simon agrees to sell his house. Boom. That's a call option. He has agreed that he will sell a property to someone else who paid him for that right. Basically, that's a covered call. Well, why are you going to do something like this? I mean, bro, you got all this gains. Why would you do something like that? Well, in Simon's case, he collects money to possibly guarantee selling his house. You don't know if you're going to sell your house. Shit's illiquid. Sometimes you try to sell a house for a couple years. Market fluctuates. You don't know. So Simon took a shot and goes, fuck it. I'd rather take the 10 grand today without a guaranteed sale and go, maybe I get to keep it. Martin's case, now he's got an option on a house. He's got time to look around. What happens if the market goes wildly higher? Suddenly he's got something that's worth a lot of money. That's why Martin would buy it. So to Simon, the option value is a premium collected. To Martin, the option value is a premium paid. That is exactly the same terms you will use with options. So now we're talking about options, but we're using houses. It's crazy, right? Don't you feel wild? So this is the time value. As the year goes by, a new shopping center opens near Simon's house. It's announced. They're going, oh my God, it's going to be the greatest shopping center ever. What are we going to do? Everyone's got to move into this neighborhood. Market skyrockets. There's Simon's house. Shit's now worth $550,000, son. This ain't a fucking joke. So Simon's like, damn, house is worth a lot more money. I basically locked myself out at $410,000, right? Wrong, bitch. That's not the problem. He just locked himself in. Don't worry about that. See, Martin's option, though, to him, this is where he gets excited. His option just went in money. ITM, so we'll call it from now on. And it is worth $140,000 intrinsic value to him now because Simon's house is worth $550,000 on the open market. He can buy it for $400,000, but he paid $10,000 for that right. Ergo, you subtract the $10,000 from the fucking worth of the house, you get the value of the intrinsic value on the option. It's fucking simple, baby. It just sounds complicated because Nigerian's dick. Oh no. Or like, what? So yeah, check this out. Mall got canceled. Shit happens. Sometimes companies fail. Sometimes new products get, cause brain cancer and shit. Local housing market tanks. Boom. Simon's house is only worth $300,000 now. Well, $330,000, but who's counting? So now Martin's option is out of the money. And it only holds the value of time. So that would be like if he wanted to see about going, oh shit, This house used to be worth $400,000. I got an option to buy it at that. I paid $10,000 for. Well, at least I got a half year left. This is all this happened in 6 months. I got 6 months left where if the value goes back up, boom, good. So maybe his option is worth to someone else. Maybe he can sell it for $2,000. So that person gets a cheap shot on an even further out of the money probability. Who cares? What do you care? That's not what you care about. You care about Simon and Martin because that's your trade, baby. All right. Counterparty, fuck them. So why would you do something like that? Simon, it looks like, just lost out on money. It looks like he lost out on money when the price went up. And it looks like he lost out on money when the price went down. Now, that doesn't seem like a good idea, right? Wrong. Because what happened is nobody knows what's going to happen. Even people who think they know what's going to happen, even people with information they shouldn't have, can't predict what the market will do with it. So sometimes it's worth it to a guy like Simon to take that money in pocket and go, maybe my house is worth less, maybe my house is worth more, but I get to collect a premium to do that. Worst case scenario, if the house is worth $1 bajillion, Simon still sells it for $400,000 plus the $10,000 he collected on the option. So if that year goes by and the house is now worth infinity, it doesn't matter to Simon beyond he gets to collect his $400,000 plus the 10. He gets his $160,000 in gains. Simon's happy. The only reason you wouldn't be happy is because you're a greedy dick. He was just happy to sell it at $400,000 when it was that at the market. So now, because it's worth $1 bajillion, he doesn't want. He's sad that he could have made 400. He could have made 150,000, locked it in. Thinking like that will lose you money. That's why guys like Martin in this situation have an option that's worth dick. If that house isn't worth more than $400,000 by the end of the year, Martin's fucked. But he had a chance to capitalize on leverage. For $10,000, he controlled a $400,000 instrument that Simon could no longer sell to anyone else for more money without Martin having a chance at it. So Martin got to capitalize on the value of the house that he didn't have enough money or didn't put down enough money to afford. Everyone's happy in this situation except maybe Simon, maybe Martin, because Simon doesn't get to go shopping at the new Best Buy. Martin's probably okay because he goes, well, fuck, I almost lost $70,000 on an investment. It only cost me $10,000. Not so bad. That is a covered call in housing terms. To summarize it in options terms, let's say Simon has 100 shares of some stock. He sells an option on his stock for a period of time to sell those shares at the current value. If the shares go up in value, that option becomes worth more money until it becomes worth whatever the hell. It doesn't matter because the difference between the value of the stock and the money collected by selling that option would be your profit for Simon. If Simon were to be the one buying the option here, he would go, I don't want to own 100 shares of stock, but I want to control it in case it goes up. He buys himself an option for 100 shares for a certain period of time. If in that period of time the value does not go wildly higher, he will not make money because the value of his option is only such that it's going to go higher over time. If not, he paid extra money for something that's still worth the same. That's how he loses buying premium. In the stock market, volatility acts on the option's premium to inflate it above the actual expectations of market movement. Now, I just got really complicated to throw in some scary words to remind you we're still talking about the stock market in case you forgot, because it sounded so goddamn simple. Now, next time we're going to do put options. Next time's going to be even more fun. We'll draw more crazy houses and shitty people. We'll talk about values. We may use Martin and Simon again. We may not. Who knows? But I'm glad you listened. I hope you learned something. Make sure to send emails to ferkpolo@me.com. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.